In a forgotten valley where the mountains folded into each other like sleeping giants and the air always smelled faintly of smoke and wildflowers, there lived a 6-year-old human girl named Elira, a child so small that the world often forgot to notice her, yet so brave that the world would soon remember her forever, because on the morning everyone else fled in terror from the echoing shriek of an awful dragon hatchling, Elira did the unthinkable. She stepped forward, tilted her head, squinted her curious eyes, and said the one word no one had ever dared to say about a dragon: cute. The hatchling had been born only hours earlier, tearing its way out of a cracked obsidian egg near the old ruins beyond the village, its scales uneven, its wings too small, its roar more like a broken whistle than a sound of doom, yet the elders screamed and rang warning bells because prophecy had taught them fear long before truth had taught them understanding, and so they called the creature awful, cursed, dangerous, a harbinger of ash and death. But Elira, who had lost her mother to sickness and her father to war and had learned early that labels often lied, saw something else entirely. She saw trembling claws, blinking eyes filled with confusion, and a lonely creature abandoned in a world that already hated it. As villagers shouted for torches and guards reached for spears, Elira slipped from her grandmother's grasp and ran toward the hatchling, her small boots splashing through mud, her heart pounding not with fear but with wonder, and when she reached the dragon, she didn't scream or run, she simply knelt, held out her hand, and repeated softly, "You're cute," as if that single word could shield them both from the cruelty of the world. The hatchling froze, its jagged tail curling defensively, smoke puffing from its nostrils, but then something ancient and impossible happened. Its roar died in its throat, its claws loosened, and its golden eyes softened, because no creature born of fire and fury had ever been seen with such gentleness, and no creature, no matter how fearsome, can resist being seen for what it truly is rather than what it is feared to become. From that moment, an invisible thread tied Elira's heart to the dragon's, and when the guards charged, the hatchling stepped in front of her, wings flaring clumsily, and burned a circle into the ground, not to harm, but to warn, and the villagers stopped, stunned, because the awful dragon hatchling was protecting a human child. Days passed, and the bond only grew stronger. Elira named the dragon Ashling, because it sounded softer than ash and stronger than spark, and she fed it scraps, sang it lullabies, and slept curled against its warm scales, while Ashling followed her everywhere, growing not just in size but in trust, learning that the world was not only a place of fear and fire but also of kindness and belonging. Whispers spread through the valley that the dragon had chosen a human, that the prophecy might be wrong, that maybe destruction was not destiny, and when a great shadow finally fell over the mountains, the ancient dragon king himself, drawn by the presence of the hatchling, panic returned, but Elira did not run. She stood before the towering beast, her voice small yet unshaking, and told him that Ashling was not awful, not cursed, not a weapon, but cute, loved, and hers, and the dragon king, ancient beyond memory, saw in that child what centuries of war had erased from his kind: hope without fear, strength without cruelty, and a future rewritten by compassion. In that moment, the fate of dragons and humans shifted forever, not because of swords or spells, but because a 6-year-old girl dared to love what everyone else feared, proving that sometimes the smallest voice can change the loudest destiny, and that calling something cute can be the bravest act of all. If this story touched your heart and you believe that kindness can change even the fiercest fate, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because many more powerful, emotional stories like this are waiting just for you.